Go for it.
Aloha, snack bar, everyone, and good mythical morning. It's the one, the only, the mystic monkey, the one and only, the ape, who is the silverback, who is here talking to you this morning. My main man, CJ, the dentist of the deep, the master of the flux capacitor, the man who's making this broadcast come out perfect. And it's another Rogue Money Mornings where we break down the news, the information, and the things that you need to listen to and pay attention to because it's important, and we bring you balance and gravitas. That being said, good morning, CJ.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. How you doing with that lovely weather there on the East Coast, Dre?
Dude, luckily I went out and I was able to buy 20 loaves of bread and 15 gallons of milk. So I'm going to be having bread and milk sandwiches all day today, so thank God for that. Dude, I can't even look out of my window. Like, if you look out of my window, you can see the Hudson River, right?
Yeah.
I can't see past 10 to 15 feet. It is like complete whiteout conditions. We're buried, man. Nobody's moving
Wow.
here. Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's only not. It's 9 a.m. here in New York, and it's totally. I mean, it's totally shut down, bro. There's like no movement. It's a complete standstill.
Maybe they're trying to get out of DC early for their April break. I saw the news the other day that I think they only have like 5 or 8 working days in April for the House and for Congress and Senate. Maybe they're trying to get out early, V.
Well, I mean, you never know. I mean, these guys are such hard workers because they work very hard on behalf of the people.
Right. Roger that.
Of course, I'm being silly.
Yeah.
God, the most laziest conglomerate of near do wells and good for nothings is right there in DC, bro. Unreal. Drain that swamp, man. Drain that
Drain the
swamp.
swamp.
And guys, you can follow us on Twitter at Rogue Money. Check us out on Facebook on Rogue Money, and also the website. Most importantly, roguemoney.net. With that being said, also, guys, you can check out our sponsors. If you are in debt, you need help, you are stressed out, and you're losing sleep about the amount of money you owe to somebody else, in terms of, like, when I say somebody else, I'm not talking about Frankie, Tony, and Joey, who could break your knees. I'm not talking about that kind of debt. I'm talking about Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. Because if you owe Frankie, Joey, and Tony some money, you got problems. I don't think we could help you there.
You got some real problems there.
You got some real problems, especially if Joey owns a cement factory and he's into making cement shoes. Then we can't help you, and we don't want to help you. You're screwed. But if you're just like most Americans, you owe money to creditors and lenders, and you're worried about it, you need to get the heck out of that system. Call myfreedomnow.us. Heck, if you don't owe anybody anything, you just need to get a credit checkup. myfreedomnow.us will give you a credit score checkup, get you the credit score that you deserve if you need to buy a house, refinance a house, get a better interest rate on a car loan. Check out myfreedomnow.us. With that out of the way, CJ, what's lacking, bro?
Yeah, just some great articles up the last 24 hours at roguemoney.net. So make sure you check those out. Bankster Slayer posted one regarding Stella, the weather bomb. As you know, that Stella, the weather bomb, as you know, it's hitting hard the East Coast right now. Mm-hmm. She's got that up at roguemoney.net, and check that out. And then also James, the Russian analyst, has a great, as we talk about the Ides of March, and we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of Tsar Nicholas II forced abdication. He has a great article detailing that entire thing out, what the true narrative is. So make sure you check those out.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Great articles right there, especially the Stella, the weather bomb, and James's Tsar Nicholas abdication article. Check it out. A lot of connections going on just between those two. I mean, there's an article about weather, and here's an article about Tsar Nicholas. I mean, he wouldn't be like, what's the relation? Oh, they're connected. And go to roguemoney.net to find out why. With that being said, my man, like, what's going on with the CBO?
Well, they scored the new replacement for the Affordable Care Act.
Yeah.
And B, it's basically, coming in stating that there's going to be, 24 million less uninsured. And then also it's going to reduce the deficit by about $337 billion. Mm-hmm. The CBO rarely scores things properly. I think their Obama miss was like double in terms of the number of people.
Their Obama miss was like into the tens of millions. It was like in the billions of people, bro. It was ridiculous.
It was, yeah, and the financial impact as well was like a 64% miss. Like, I can't remember the exact figures, but they said it was estimated it's going to cost, so many billions of dollars, and they came in way above that missing mark by 64%. I mean, here's a deal. Here's a deal with this bill. This bill is, again, it's not the best. And to think of it this way, in terms of the uninsured and penalties and fines and everything else like that, this is an impact of government getting too involved with these things. When government gets involved, this is what happens. We have this mess that has to be dealt with. This Obamacare, we all know that it killed jobs.
Yeah,
it did really nothing to improve quality of care. In fact, it probably set us back several years where doctors, hospitals were trying to understand all this. But it'll be interesting to see where it goes with it as far as the GOP and their plan. But again, I think this has probably more than likely will probably boggle things down and really tie down the administration from getting other things accomplished. What's your take on it, V?
Absolutely, 1,000%. I mean, this is like what Trump said. He said that this is going to be the first volley into bringing real negotiations into this. I mean, the Congressional Budget Office, man, like what CJ said, these guys are totally off. I don't know how they're coming up with these magic multipliers, CJ. These guys are always off. They're never accurate. And if you and I were to balance our household budgets the way the CBO does, oh my God, can you imagine the reaction from our spouses?
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about the CBO. It's being politicized big time. These are guys who always get everything wrong every single time. But the point is, Trump says now we could begin the real hard negotiations. So we can even see a newer, revamped healthcare thing, because this whole healthcare thing, Trump rubber stamped it in a way, just to get the GOP, because this is concocted. 99.99% of this healthcare thing that was proposed was concocted by the GOP, that idiot Paul Ryan. So Trump let them run with it so they can hit that wall called the CBO and let it die a political death, which he knew it was going to happen because it was a great political move on his end. Now they can renegotiate and renege it and give the American people what they want, which is not Obamacare Lite, but the end of Obamacare, period, allowing states to open up for competition. So that's the only way we're going to fix this and rectify this problem. How do we apply free market principles to every single other aspect of our economy, of our country? But yet when it comes to something that is so vital as purchasing healthcare, we decide to lock it up where we create regional cartels. That's the most ridiculous thing. That's the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. But it's so stupid it could only be created in the mind of a politician. Okay, that's how stupid it is. And only to an idiot politician would something like that make sense. Okay, so opening it up to interstate commerce, where somebody in California, you could buy from an insurance in Colorado or Delaware, that allows the prices to drop. Because if you look at surgery, CJ, okay, one aspect, okay, in terms of Obamacare and how it's ratcheted up medical costs, how doctors are working more hours, getting paid less, and all these other things that are going on. One area of medicine, okay, that has continued to drop in cost is cosmetic surgeries. Why is that? Well, cosmetic surgeries are opened to the free market. So you want to go get a boob job one time, which was like $10,000, $12,000. Now it's significantly less. How? Well, because Dr. So-and-so down the street, he does a boob job. And the other doctor across town, he also does boob jobs. Everybody's doing boob jobs. And then what happens? The price drops. Same thing with cosmetic dentistry. Okay, same thing is occurring. While dental prices in the traditional sense have gone up for cleanings and fillings and root canals, this, that, and the other, cosmetic dentistry costs have went down. Why? Because of free market principles. Okay, that's the whole thing that people need to understand. All right, why apply, free market principles to everything else except healthcare? It's the most stupidest thing in the world, CJ. So I think this is a good setback. I think it's going to allow Trump to get his version through finally.
Well, and yes, and what you said is exactly true. And if you think of it, the other thing that needs to be stated in regards to Obamacare, that the true design of Obamacare was really to collapse the system, collapse the insurance system itself, and bring it under a single payer system. It's basically wanting to get to Canada's universal health care and apply it where the government is bringing all the money in. It's just the government had a vision of everyone no longer paying any type of private insurance, a matter of giving the government all the money. They decide who gets the care. They decide. And when you look at the mergers and the acquisitions in the insurance, there's probably only 3 or 4 major players left in the insurance. That's it. And the feds did the right thing the other day. It was this ruling I think just came through yesterday where they actually blocked the merger of Anthem and Cigna, which would have taken basically the number 2 and I believe number 4 largest insurers in the United States and merge them into this powerhouse. And again, what these insurance companies do, they merge and then they start reducing the amount of coverage. They start doing all these different things. But you're right. It needs to be a free market system. They need to open up, get rid of these fake territory lines. It's the only, I think every other industry has been deregulated. It's time for the insurance to follow the same suit, V.
Yeah, 1,000%, man. Because all we have right now in this country is cartelism. Because of government payoffs and lackeys that are working in politics. Okay, I mean, look at it. Every industry in the world. Every other industry that we have, every major industry where the government's involved in. What do you see? You see cartelism. I mean, look at the media. You have 4 media companies that run everything. Cartelism. You look at cell phones. There's 4 cell phone companies that run everything. It's ridiculous. So, something like healthcare is primed for disruption. So let the free market happen. You're going to see better quality care, much lower prices, because people are going to be competing to give you the best possible product for the best possible price. And that's the difference between capitalism and socialism. Socialism is rape. Okay? There's an old saying, man. I love this saying. I don't know who said it, but it says this. Socialism is rape. Capitalism is consensual sex. That's exactly what it is.
Perfect.
Think about it. Because the socialist says, give me this or you're dead. That's what a socialist says. The capitalist says, if I don't make something for you, whether it's a good or a service, I starve to death. That's the difference. If I don't make you this or you love my product, I'm dead. That's the difference between a capitalist and a socialist. You want to be raped or do you want consensual sex? It's up to you. That being said, SEAL Team 6, man. What's going on with SEAL Team 6 and the boys from Delta?
Well, right now, the drums of intimidation, the drums of war between North and South Korea. So obviously, we deployed the THAAD missile system to South Korea. And now it looks like for the first time in a long time that SEAL Team 6 is going to be taking military drills along with Army Rangers, a combined effort in training exercises in South Korea. I thought yesterday, during yesterday's conversation with London Paul, by the way, you guys did an awesome job of geopolitically breaking down everywhere around the globe. It was really amazing. So for our listeners, if you hadn't had a chance to listen to that, please go back and do that. It's very informative. But in terms of North Korea, I really think it's kind of like one of those things where the deep state has lost the complete narrative in Syria. You're starting to see a lot of things happen where their infiltration and their ability to influence things is losing ground significantly there. And so now it's pivoting to like, okay, let's take your eyes off in here. Let's look here. So again, regarding North Korea, you see now Japan is, sending some military there as well. China and everyone's getting worked up about what's happening with the two. And then again, anytime North Korea needs money or they need food, whatever, they just fire some missiles off.
That's it. Some dumb gum. What the guy? Some dumb fool. Some dumb fresh.
It's about right.
Whatever his name is. Yeah, some dumb fools. North Korea. Whatever. Some dumb fool. Some dumb guy. Whatever he does.
Kim Jong-un.
Oh, that's his name. Kim Jong-un. Kim Jong-un. So whatever Kim Jong-un. I can't even say it. Can't even say it, CJ. My tongue's not working well this morning. But anyway, some dumb fool. What he does is this. Whenever he needs something, he shoots off some missiles. Well, what's the difference this time? Well, he not only shot off some missiles, he decided to go kill his half-brother, Dim Sum Moon. And Dim Sum Moon was killed in... Was that his name? Dim Sum Moon? No, Dim Sum Moon is a dish. Anyway.
His brother's name. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So, whatever. So anyway, this guy gets killed in an airport in Malaysia. An international airport. This guy got whacked with VX nerve gas. I mean, what the hell?
Right.
You know?
Brutal.
I mean, the mob could learn a thing or two from some dumb fresh in North Korea, right? AKA Kim Jong Un, right? The mob could learn something, but the mob doesn't even have access to weapons of mass destruction. So anyway, the Malaysians are like, "What the heck are you guys doing? You guys are releasing a weapon of mass destruction nerve agent in an international airport. How the hell did you, number one, smuggle it into the country? Number two, are you able to do this?" And immediately, the Chinese said, "Okay, this guy is absolutely nuts," and they not only stopped the shipments, the importation of coal from North Korea for an entire year, which puts a lot of pressure on North Korea economically. But the question becomes, will the Kim Jong-un dynasty be dealt with? Now, if you notice, this has occurred. You got the Delta and the Seal there, and then President Xi Jinping is going to be meeting with Donald Trump in April, right around the corner in Mar-a-Lago, to discuss a whole bunch of things. So, of course, one of them is going to be the new Silk Road and whatnot. Because the thing is this, right? We can look at it two ways, okay? I'm going to break this down for you guys. People are seeing SEALs and Delta and Ranger in South Korea. People are seeing the saber rattling in South Korea. People are seeing the PSYOP that was run against President Park, okay, who was deposed a la Dilma Rousseff style, okay, where she was stepped down because of controversy. And a lot of people are saying, is the Korean conflict a way to hinder the One Belt, One Road initiative and the Eurasian development? Is it another way to do that? And the question is no. Okay, the question is no. I mean, the Atlantists have tried to do that. So you're seeing movements of warships in Korea, where Japan is moving their largest warship that they have in their fleet into the South China Sea, heading in the direction of Korea. You have USS Nimitz class aircraft carrier over there. You got SEALs Delta over there as well. So people are saying, oh, of course, the saber rattling. There's some websites that are out there reporting that they're being positioned for World War III. No, it's not being positioned for World War III. Calm yourself. First and foremost, these exercises have been scheduled way in advance. And number two, the United States is not gonna take any sort of insane action in the South China Sea. Okay, unless of course we want to see naval vessels go to the bottom. They're not going to take any sort of actions in the South China Sea without China's blessings. And I've always said this: China holds the cards in the Asia Pacific, not the U.S. Okay, China holds the cards because they have a very good defensive posture built up. They have some very advanced missile systems, but I'm not even talking about military, CJ. I'm talking about from an economic standpoint.
Right.
Okay? China can dump U.S. treasuries tomorrow if the need should arise. And then our dollar would go next to nothing. Our economy grinds to the halt. And there would be no way for us to even we won't be even able to gas. Our Navy will not be able to afford to even gas a small rowboat with an outboard motor, let alone a giant aircraft carrier or a warship. Just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. Even, I know aircraft carriers run on nuclear power, but I'm talking about the regular surface ships. Wouldn't have the ability to do that. And you still need jet fuel. Okay, so we will not be able to do that. So the whole point is this: is this some sort of Korean containment? No, I think this is an exercise. Number one. Number two, I think there is talks that China is having with the U.S. right now. Jong-un, heck, even Russia and China talked about it last year. I've reported on that removing Un from North Korea is a viable thing. Why? Because Kim Jong-un also happens to be the biggest block to what the Eastern powers want to do in the New Silk Road, because they wanted to run the pipelines from Busan in South Korea through North Korea into China, into Russia. There's a huge pipeline deal that needs to get done. Kim Jong-un is the uncooperative party here. So is it time to end this moron's reign of terror? I think the time is soon approaching, CJ.
I agree. We've been dealing with this for numerous years. China has the cards. China holds the cards to this deal, and doing it through diplomacy. You're right. They're positioning all this rhetoric. There has to be a show of force. You can't let your enemies think that you're not going to do anything. So by sending in military assets, doing these things, maneuvering, hopefully this is going to influence China to do the negotiating, determine what the road ahead looks like for North Korea. V. It's just yeah, and I agree with you. I read a couple of articles the other day regarding, oh yeah, this is going to take
World
us
War III.
It's not going to happen, people. This is, again, just amount of the information that's coming out, what's going on there, and behind the scenes, they're probably discussing what it looks like to get rid of this. Gosh, I mean, anyone that would take out their brother like that, right? Their half brother.
Yeah. Well, look at the way he took out his uncle. He took his uncle out with a firing squad because the firing squad was anti-aircraft guns. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts, and it's time for him to go, man. It's just disgusting. North Korea, what a bunch of Looney Tunes those guys are. Bunch of Looney Tunes. They got to go. How can people be that dumb in the 21st century? It's shocking, but it's got to go. And my whole thing is, people see that they're guys in the alt media would see stuff move like this and scream World War III, just like they see the Marines. They're putting Marines in Syria with our artillery units. It's the staging of World War III. I mean, are you kidding me, man? I mean, how first and foremost, for any advanced army like the Russians, they can take out those artillery positions very quickly, very easily. Not an issue. Okay, that artillery piece is there. Why? Because they are preventing uses from moving back into the area. They're actually coordinating with the U.S. So these are the kind of things that people need to see. Like I said before, CJ, the fog of war is going to be real thick, and there's going to be a lot of confusion in this world. That's why you need to tune in to Rogue Money. Nobody has the international sources and resources that we have. I mean, CJ, we get trolled by some major players, even in alt media. They'll troll us, and they're like wondering how the heck we got the information we got and why we're right on the button.
Right.
I mean, like yesterday, I was checking out a major website. Right, they had an article up there, okay, about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, of how $200 billion was taken out of there to fund Obamacare. Dude, me and Dex talked about that weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
In detail. Yep. Unreal, man. Unreal. Anyway.
Well, so many, again, when you take your information, right out of the MSM and you take it at face value, you can no longer do that, V, and that's part of almost doing the forensics as far as breaking down the analysis, looking at the news, and looking at different links and digging deeper into it to find out what it. And you guys nailed it. You guys covered that last week, and it's just now coming out. So again, check out our articles, roguemoney.net. Share it with family, friends. Help us build our network, our audience, because lots of amazing things going on, and just right now in terms of the amount of disinformation that's coming out,
huge,
so
man.
it's tough sometimes. There's just so much information coming at us right now.
Yep, absolutely, 1000%, man. So let's cover real quick. The fifth column, Deep State CIA is exposed yet again, man. And my prediction is this, CJ: the agency's on its last legs. And within 2 years' time, it will cease to exist as we know it today. Within 2 years. It can even happen this year, but within the span of 2 years, within that time frame, the CIA will cease to exist as we know it, bro.
Yeah, and this is in reading this and understanding the implications and everything that's involved with it. It's the merger of the news to say what is it that Amazon's cloud services host the servers for the CIA, and Jeff Bezos is owner of Amazon, but yet he also is owner of the Washington Post, and you understand how they get these fake narratives built into the public. Well, that's how they do it. It's exactly how they do it, V.
Yep, absolutely, man. And it's coming out that revelation containing the documents of WikiLeaks, what they're starting to show. It seems evident that the technological aspects regarding espionage is a specialty in which the CIA, as far as we know, excels at. Hardware and software vendors that are complicit, most of which are American, British, or Israeli, give the CIA the opportunity to achieve information full spectrum dominance, relegating privacy to extinction. Power, money, and technology entails major conflicts of interest, as can be seen in the case of Amazon's AWS, Amazon's cloud service, cloud provider for the CIA, whose owner, Jeff Bezos, also the owner of Jeff Bezos' blog, aka the Washington Post, is a clear overlap of private interests that conflicts with the theoretical need to declare uncomfortable truths without the need to consider orders numbering in the millions of dollars from clients like the CIA. While it's just one example, there are thousands more that are out there. The perverse interplay between media, spy agencies, and politicians has compromised the very meaning of the much vaunted democracy of the land of the stars and stripes. The constant scandals that are beamed into our screens now serve the sole purpose of advancing the deep interests of the Washington establishment. In geopolitical terms, it is now more than obvious that the deep state has committed all available means towards sabotaging any dialogue and detente between the United States and Russia. In terms of news, the WikiLeaks revelation sheds light on the methods used by the U.S. intelligence agencies, like the Cocaine Import Agency, to place blame on the Kremlin or networks associated with it for the hacking that occurred during the American elections. And it goes on and on. And again, the original article is on strategicculture.org. Check them out. Great place. But the whole thing is correct. I mean, you and I cover this where these people could literally hack and make it look like it's the Russians that did it. And it's all being done through Amazon's AWS. Now, you might say to yourself, well, oh my God, it's Amazon's AWS. Well, look, Amazon has the biggest cloud computing service, period. I think a third of the internet is pretty much based on their cloud computing. Okay, it's based on their storage. Okay, so if you're going to operate in the realms of information espionage, you need to go through Amazon's AWS. So if you're the CIA, going and getting into AWS is unavoidable. Okay, and it doesn't necessarily mean, and I'm not a big fan of Bezos. I think his politics is crap, but I don't think there's any sort of a real nefarious tie between Bezos and the CIA. I don't think there's really anything there. It's just the way it is, man. If you want to operate on the internet big league, you're gonna have to be on AWS. It has to be that way. It is what it is. Google rents space from Amazon. So does
Right.
Netflix. Netflix's servers are on AWS. They're on Amazon. That's how friggin' huge the Amazon is. It's unavoidable. Nobody has that type of depth or infrastructure that AWS has. That's why when their S3 was down for AWS with Amazon, it affected the internet. I mean, Instagram was affected. I mean, so it was ridiculous, man. It was like 20% of the internet was like grinding to a crawl, because of that. So that's the thing. What else is going on, CJ? What's going on with my favorite sultan, the turd in the hummus bowl? What's going on with Erdogan?
It's just interesting that this, how Erdogan, he just keeps getting tossed around. He doesn't have his own narrative. It gets painted by everyone else, in regards to Syria, and now saying that he was, kind of being trolled a little bit. So now he's coming out saying, that he's the migrant deal is off, even though he's accepted billions of dollars, to house these migrants, and his plan is to just release them, let the flood them into Europe.
Well, that's good. That's wonderful. That's this is why Erdogan is such a popular guy globally. Oh my God, Erdogan is just he wakes up in the morning and he's like, whose life could I screw up this morning? I mean, he's just one of those saboteurs. He's like a thug.
He's like all over the place.
He is so funny, man. He's like he is putting a lot of concerted effort into being the most unpopular man in the world. He's probably, he's wakes up in the morning. He's like, some dumb guy is, Kim Jong-un is the most popular, supervillain in the world. How can I get to that level? He's really trying hard, CJ.
Yeah, and Europe needs to take this seriously, V, because obviously they already have mass problems there right now, right? So it's estimated that there are 2 million migrants that are sitting along the Turkey border. And and I wouldn't put it past them to just open those borders up and flood them into Europe, which would create havoc in that area. And they're coming up on the crucial elections right now too. So one has to ask, is this by design?
Exactly. I mean, we have to ask this because Europe is in crisis, man. There was another rape in Sweden, and this time they raped the girl to death. I mean, she died, and they kept raping her. Well, I mean, the Europeans, that's just, totally normal. These are emasculated, bunch of cuckold men that are running Europe, and this is what happens. Bunch of emasculated, feminized, cuckold men that are running roughshod. And this is what happens to the social left. You keep demonizing men. You keep demonizing testosterone. This is exactly what happens. They are reaping what they sow. That's what's going on over there, bro.
Absolutely.
Unreal.
Absolutely.
Anyway. All right, brother. That brings us to the end of the show, man. Give out your shout outs.
Yeah. Later on today, we have the Trading Terror Domes coming up. So Dex will be on later on with V. Is that 3 o'clock, V? Is that right? 2
p.m.
2 p.m. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to listen in on that. The other thing, V, in regards to this whole Vault 7 and NSA and all the surveillance and everything, is that we Americans need to understand that we are supposed to be protected against this type of unwarranted listening and spying. And we have to stand up to this. That's my biggest narrative that I want to paint in regards to this, is that, yeah, we know they do this, against foreign agencies and their everything. But in terms of the illegal spying, on Americans, we're supposed to be protected against this type of surveillance, and we can't accept it, V.
No, not at all, man. It's unacceptable, 1,000%. It's gotta go. I mean, the agency has to be done a dealt blow. It needs to be taken care of. Absolutely, without a doubt. And with that being said, guys, again, you can follow us on Twitter at The Rogue Money. Subscribe to this channel, hit the notification bell so you can be alerted to the latest shows that we post. And then on top of that, check us out on roguemoney.net, where the most explosive, incredible articles are written. And check us out also on the Rogue Money Facebook page. With that being said, guys, again, if you have debt or credit issues, check out myfreedomnow.us. The boys over there can really help you. You can actually book a call. Heck, I might even call you. So you never know. With that being said, we are over and we are out. Take it away, CJ.